turn it down to that, and oh, I should loosen this actually. Oop. At least for there we go. I think that's everything, right? Let's see. I know my chat's working. Let me turn this down a bit. Yeah, I guess that is everything. Oh, I should update my. There we go. That's changed. There we go. Okay. All right. Hello and welcome everyone. It is fucking. Oh, I forgot to do Twitter. Okay, let me do that real quick. So while I'm doing Twitter, let's do a quick recap. I apologize for everyone who had tuned in yesterday and was just hanging out, vibing, and all that stuff. Unfortunately, my internet decided to crash altogether, like for like 20 plus minutes, 15 plus minutes, something like that, and it sucked. Let's be real. Like right now. Twitch.tv TV slash yep, and change this. So yeah, internet was completely down. So I was just like, you know what? I don't know when it's coming back, which is very unfortunate. So I was just like, let me just try and post if I can. Unfortunately, it's very hard to post when your thing is completely down. So I was like, well, that's not good. So I had to get off my, I had to get on my cell phone to chat and all this stuff. Hi, wrong guy. Hope you're doing it good. Hi, D's. Anyways, though, I found out while I was in the middle of playing Depression Quest that I was like, okay, let me just play the rest of it tomorrow. And then I was like, okay, I have to see something real quick. So while the stream was completely, butt fucked, basically, um, I had to see if the stream was actually going to work, like just in general. So I was like, okay, let me just close the game and then see from there. Because it really wasn't like a save thing. It's like when you go to the menu, it was like, oh yeah, you can restart the game or exit. So I was like, okay, fucking weird. So I was just like, okay, let me check this out. Oh no, you failed your driving test. That's a bummer. You're driving? I don't know if driving is the correct. I mean, it could be a thing. But hopefully you're doing better. Okay, yeah. I assumed it was driving test. I was like, driving. But yeah, I played a bit yesterday. What am I looking for? Content. Oh, here we go. Oh, they posted a separate things now. Okay, I got it. That's stupid. You know what? Fuck it. Okay, let's do this then. Do I wanna? Sure, whatever. What was I saying though? You need 43 points out of 50 to pass. You had 42. Damn, that's fucking sucky. We'll see what's so close. You're like, oh, I can do it. It's like, no, your teacher said no. Fuck that shit. But that is really much of a bummer. But yeah, so I found out that the game basically resets when you close it. So we're just kind of jumping ahead as much as I remember. Um, turn on TV. And I think we were close to the ending anyways, so it was like fine. And I kind of wanted to play some other stuff too. Uh, Change the subject, I think. Yeah, that's right. Become a cat owner. Sure. We are a cat owner now, and we are highly depressed. But yeah, at least if anything, you could take it soon again, right? At least I assume so. Sleep on it. Call after wrestling. Head there. Next. Head into work. Yep. I forget how much there was. Good lord. Here we go. I guess it does feel like a shit ton when there's like 500 things going on. I think this is the last part I was at, so that's not bad. Oh, late October. Damn, they really want you to pass. So they're just like, oh, yeah, get some more time and good luck on that. I guess it also depends on where you are, too, because I know that sometimes it's a. Like, at least I know for the States, it's like. I think it's like. I don't remember. I think when it comes to the States in general, it's more of a thing like, can you get an appointment? Is really the thing because sometimes the appointments are like weeks out, and I think that's usually the issue too for most like places. Oh, is there lag? God damn it! Why is there fucking lag? Hold on. Um, did that fix it? No. Oh, that fixed it. There we go. At least it fixed a little bit, but not really. It still says I'm dropping frames. I have to figure out what the fuck happened. And one of the many, many OBS updates to see like why it's so fucking laggy. It's stupid though. But yeah, okay. If anything, we're gonna finish up the rest of Depression Quest today, which I was playing yesterday. And then there was another game that I wanted to see and try playing, but it kind of varies on how fast the game actually loads too. I mean, 2 second long delay than before. Oh, fucking weird. Okay. All right. All right. I will keep that in mind while I am streaming. Because it still says there's a bit of a lag regardless, and I think that's stupid. There are better. Let's see. No. 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 Yeah, I know that it like had this weird thing too, where it was like immediately lagging last time too. Uh, when it came to just having my fucking like browser open for some bizarre reason. Currently trying to up 100% Red Dead Redemption 2, but for that you need online play as well, which sucks ass. Ew, I didn't know you had to play the online version as well. That's a bummer. God, how long has Dead Redemption been out for now? Because it feels like it's been like ages. Because everyone's like, oh yeah, it's good and all that stuff. I'm like, I don't know. I don't fucking know. But sometimes it be 2018. Oh, it has been a hot second then. Okay. Damn. Really? 7 years? Damn. Then again, I am also the person where I was on a date once with someone. This was ages ago, depending on how I'm telling the story. Where we were talking about games and all that stuff, and they mentioned how they were super excited about. I want to say it was Bioshock Infinite with Booker and Elizabeth. At least that's what I remember for the characters, but I don't know if that's the correct title, Bioshock Infinite. Where they were like, "Oh yeah, Bioshock Infinite is coming out. Are you excited about that?" I'm like, "Oh no, I didn't know that they're making a new Bioshock game come out." And they're like, "When's it coming out?" And they're like, "It comes out tomorrow." And I'm like, "Oh." So it was just one of those things where I was just like, "Oh, I'm fucking stupid." Like it's like that thing where it's like, you don't hear about game news, and then it's like, unless you're in a specific like, you know, you are very much like being like, hey, I'm excited about this game coming out. It's like news was very different, I feel like, at the time too. Like, let's see, I'm gonna look at my phone real quick. When did Bioshock come out? Bioshock Infinite. Because I think originally at the time it was a thing where it's like, if you don't have an Xbox, why would I bother looking up Xbox games? It's 12 years old, so it's about, yeah, 2013. I don't remember who the hell I was talking about at that time then. It was March 26th. I don't know. It could have been like the ex I was talking to at the time. Or like now he's currently an ex or something else. But I really don't know who the hell it was. Shit. I guess it doesn't matter. Yeah, I know. Silk Song's coming out soon. I never played the original Hollow Knight, and from what I've seen from my friends being like, "Oh, you gotta get into it. You gotta get into it," and then I see the gameplay, and I'm like, "Yeah, the fuck, I'm getting into that." Like, I know like some people are really into the Soulsborne esque like titles and all that stuff, and there are certain games like that where I feel like that kind of falls into that category, which also I feel like Hollow Knight kind of goes to where it's like it's a mix of a platformer, but wrong move and you're kind of fucked. And with there's just certain game types where I know like it would be so fucked up. I have played Undertale actually before. I played Undertale on stream. I think, God, it had to be like almost 2 years ago now at this point. It was one of the first few games that I played when I first was starting to stream, because it was that thing where it's like, oh, it's been like 8, 9 years or whenever since it originally came out. And I was like, this feels like a good time to start playing it. Because it's like you buy it on sale and then it just sits in your library and then you don't fucking play it, of course. So it's definitely one of those things. Indeed. But yeah, it's just is one of those things where it's just like, you play a game and you're like, okay, yeah, sure, let's do that. I've had my library since 2019. Yeah, yeah, that sounds about right. I know there's a couple other games I wanted to play on stream, but like, I'm also like, oh, it's been like 5 years since I've touched it, so I know I'd have to do a new save regardless. Damn, yeah. No, that sounds about right. Because I think I definitely didn't start it until later on. Okay, let me play fucking. Oh, I guess let's read Depression Quest. It's really not a playing game. I didn't realize what this was, but apparently I didn't realize this is also an 11-year-old game. What we've done so far, at least for people hanging out and all that stuff, is that we are, I assume, a man, because they haven't really explained anything else. Oh, fucking lag again. God damn it. Why does it keep lagging? Yeah, shoot your question while I figure out the lag. Oh, lag's not got there anymore. What the fuck? It's like I click on the game and it fucking freaks out. Let me... I'm gonna Google some questions actually for OBS to see how to fix the lag. Because I don't know why it's dropping frames when this is a fucking text game. OBS lag spikes when streaming on Twitch. There we go. Use a lower bit rate. Oh, how the fuck do I check that? Wired connection. Check your upload speed. Use a stable internet. Switch Twitch servers. Lower output resident. Would you on my PC be good enough to play Baldur's Gate 3? And yes, would you? Eventually, maybe. So the funny thing about that is that I think around the same time that I did Undertale, I had started playing Baldur's Gate 3, and I never went back to it. Funny enough. I definitely can play on my computer. It was just a thing where I had never finished the story, even on my own like save files and all that stuff. And at the time, I had a ex friend of mine who I had bought the game for, and then I took a quick break to go fly out there to go hang out with them and a couple other friends that they had in the area, and then came back. And just something in between all of that, it was very frustrating to play with this person and enjoy playing the game, because it'd be like, they look up stuff and being like, you see other people's like playthroughs and being like, oh, you missed this thing or this tiny side quest, which adds to the story and the lore and all that shit. So it was like every time we would play together in our multiplayer save, they would fucking what's the word? They would be like, "Oh, do you mind if we do a new save?" And we did it 2 or 3 times. And it was funny because like every time I would play a different, class and race and all stuff, while they'd make like the same character, give or take. And it's like, which I thought was stupid. And then we wouldn't get any farther in our other saves because they want to keep resetting and be like, oh, well, we missed this because of this timeline. And you only have so many days to do this quest before it's considered like, oh, so much time has actually passed that you miss it. I'm like, well, that's fucking stupid. Like I'd rather just play the game how I want instead of being like, I need to get every single little fucking quest because you want me to enjoy it. But yeah, I think let me check actually, because I know I got a pretty good amount of number hours into it. Like I got into Act 3 in my main save file, but it was just that thing where I was like, there was just so much going on where I was like, yeah, this ain't happening. Let's see, I got 100. No, that's not gigabytes. 106 hours. Yeah, and I haven't touched it since early 2024, which I think was probably the last time I had saved or played it on stream, realistically. Yeah, I think if I do, I definitely will try it again. I think just enjoy on my own and just, all that stuff. Actually, try and continue the story. It's like I know some bits and pieces, and I think what also made it hard too is that um, they were doing so many. Like when it first came out, they're like, "Oh, here's more story. Here's more um epilogue and all that shit." So it's just the kind of thing where it's like, okay, well, if you're gonna put out a game, could you at least have, put out everything all at once? I don't know. Maybe it's just me being a retro gamer and being like, yeah, I know. It's pretty bad how it's only like a handful of achievements, really. Because how many are there technically? 54. Yeah. So it's like some of them were just like, oh, here's some dumb, stupid things I'm gonna just do and be like, yeah, fuck it. I haven't played the bad playthrough yet. Yeah, I don't even think technically I've even gotten to the bad playthrough, realistically. Like it feels like I have it, but I don't know, maybe that's just me. Yeah, I heard there's honor mode and that makes it so much harder and all that shit altogether. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I think if anything, if I do come back to it, I'll definitely. I think if anything, I'll probably just do fresh start and go from there. Because I know that what I was originally playing on stream when I was doing it about 2 years ago now, um, I was playing as a cleric with because I didn't want to use fucking Shadowheart. She was just driving me crazy in every other playthrough. So I was like, yeah, fuck this. Shadowheart, you go stay at camp. Go sit over there. Go sit there and think about what you did. Hate games in honor mode? Fuck that. But I think I would think I was a dirge elf, if I remember. Yeah, I think I was a dirge elf. But yeah, it was a lot of different things for sure. But yeah, maybe I'll come back to it in the future when my head's like more like, okay, I have to actually do more playthroughs and all that stuff. I usually play elf monk. Yeah, I did. I think I did a couple different ones. I did at least from what I can remember. The only downside is I can't remember if my characters were for when my friends were playing together or if it was my solo play. Because I know that I did an elf. Oh, I can't remember. It's been so long. It's like I know I did the elf. I did a tiefling. I think I did a human lady. I think I don't remember. Who did you romance in my first playthrough? I think I was trying to romance Astarion. And then he got pissed, and then we broke up. Like, we didn't get far. Like, it was a thing where it's like, I got to Act 3, and then I just stopped playing because there was just so much other shit going on. And there was the fucking decapitated clown, so I was like, all right, there's too much going on. And it's very hard when you're like, oh, I want this gear and that gear, and I'm trying to do this, this, and this. Yeah, it's very funny. Um, yeah, I think I was a tiefling, and then it was at the same time. It's like even if I just used Will, he would have like big romance, like upsteads, like hell yeah, let's hang out, Will. And then I didn't want anything to do Will, so I'm like, okay. And then at the same time, Gail's like, "Oh hi, I'm here too." It's like I haven't even used you, and you're just hanging out and being like, "You want to have the sex?" And I'm like, "Bro, like the astral sex was very silly." But I was like, the whole time I was trying to be like, "Oh, let me see if I could get Halson," and it's just very very hard. And I think it's the thing where it's like you get them so late into Act Two, where it's like, do I even have a good enough relationship to, do good things with him? I don't know. I don't know. But it was just very silly. Um, oh shit. I should get. Nah, fuck the water. Fuck that. All right. Well, the good news is at least it seems to stop freaking out with dropped frames at the moment. Still don't know why, but what the fuck ever, I guess. All right. Let me start Depression Quest. Or I think we're like halfway through Depression Quest. I don't know. It is an utterly nondescript Wednesday afternoon, the type of afternoon that would completely fade from memory unless one made an active effort to preserve it. As has become routine on Wednesdays, you were sitting on the couch in Dr. Melvin's office. Dr. Melvin is our therapist that we are recommended because they're my old friend's mom goes to the therapist, I guess, for some reason. Whatever. To your mild surprise, she begins the session by breaking her characteristic therapist's silence and begins speaking up right away. I want to start by saying I think it's great that you decided to come to see me. It's an incredibly important first step, she begins. I want to take some time today to talk to you about the possibility of supplementing or substituting your treatment with medication. The mentioned medication makes your ears perk up, and you feel your heart rate increasing. She continues. Many people find adding a pharmacological element to the treatment to be very helpful. And some even prefer to take drugs, completely eliminating their need to visit a therapist at all, providing you rely on your support network and are still reach out to people. I would prefer if we keep talking should you choose to start the medication so I can monitor your progress and adjust as needed, but the choice is ultimately yours. I want to run the option by you to gauge what your thoughts are on the matter might be. Damn, all that milk money. Let's go. Dr. Melville has just given you a lot to think about. What do you do? So, from what I briefly remember, recapping, Depression Quest in general, is that we are a guy, I assume. We have a girlfriend who we've known for a couple months now. She's still in school. We're working. So, I assume, if anything, we're like a graduate student, like, we're like in our 20s, give or take. And we have these weird cases of emotions where, we don't know it's depression right away, but, we do things that basically put us into a small corner and make us very isolated. We've avoided talking to, spending time for a girlfriend. We've avoided questions when people ask us, how are you feeling or how you do, because we have anxiety attacks and nervous breakdowns kind of feelings. And we eventually broke down to an old friend who was like, hey, I've known you since X year, like for so many years. So like, what's wrong? So anyways, we eventually got in touch with a therapist and we started slowly reaching out to our family and friends and slowly coming out of our depression funds, but we're still highly feeling it. Hello, Dr. Sky Soldier. Hope you're doing all right. So yeah, that's the brief recap, and now she's telling us, hey, would you like drugs? It's like, nothing wrong with drugs for sure, and definitely this is one of those things where I myself actually take antidepressants because of the depression and all that stuff, and how my therapist at the time explained it, I don't talk to her anymore because COVID happened around the same time the last time. I was like, okay, let's make an appointment. And then it was the thing where there was no way in my specific like healthcare insurance network, whatever you want to call it, where all the therapists were swamped by everyone who was stressed and freaked out, of course. So it was like hard to get an appointment. And then we lost contact. And then I moved and all this shit. So it's like, even if I wanted to go back to her, it's like it would be impossible, more or less. Hello, Mafia Mob. Hope you're doing all right. It's been ages since I seen you too, but I hope you're vibing. But anyways, when she was prescribing that I check out. Well, first off, two things are kind of wrong about this, but I don't know if it's different because they're in Canada, at least story wise. Is that so? Basically, there's two different people. There's your therapist, and then there's the there's another word. I can't think of the word. The psychotherapist? No, I don't know. There's a therapist that you talk to, and then there's another person who's related to therapy, but it's more for prescriptions and things like that, like the actual medication. And basically, it was a thing of saying like, if you get on the drugs, it's not gonna fix everything. It's kind of psychiatrist. Yes, that is the word. Yes, psychiatrist. Thank you. Um, and it was basically a thing of like, we'll start you on the smallest dose and upgrade you or have you move up if needed, and it's not gonna fix all your problems right away. You're still gonna feel like in the waves of the motions and all this stuff. Like you're still gonna be in the storm of your own problems, but the medication is kind of more like a raincoat where it helps provide some relief, but it's not gonna fix your whole brain altogether, of course, because you still have to put in all the effort. Um, yeah, yeah, upgrading you on drugs is crazy. I know. Well, it's basically like they're like you have to take so many milligrams or kilograms and things like that. So it's like they start in the smallest dose, check, see how you do it for a couple months, and then depending on how the severity of the depression, of course, then they bump it up slowly, like 0.5 at a time or some shit like that. I don't think it's kilograms. I think it's milligrams. Let me actually check my bottles here. Actually, I don't know because it says take one tablet by mouth every day, but I assume each tablet is so much of a drug. Like it's only like point blah blah blah. I know it feels like a drug lord, but no. I just have to take a lot of drugs in general. Yeah, milligrams. I'm just like thinking. I'm like, it's funny because most of my, I feel like most of my audience is sometimes in the UK or very European continents. So it's like, oh, I'm streaming for everyone that's like going to bed. We only measure in milligrams and MCGs. Okay, definitely not kilograms then. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I definitely take 80 kilograms of drugs. I mean, if you let's put it this way, if you are taking drugs for a long enough time, even though it's not in your body all the time, you probably take kilograms of drugs. That would be a very big pill, very sure. All right. Right. Choices. Such a prescription as a way to augment. Tell you like to try drugs instead of therapy. Thought mess your brain. You stick with therapy. The whole therapy is always overwhelm you. You don't have both. No. Let's accept the drugs. Why not? You think the matter over long and hard. It's strange to think that recently none of this sort of thing was even on your radar, and here you are now being asked to make a decision about it. You're both skeptical and nervous, still getting over the initial shock of even just talking to a therapist. Still, over the years, you've done enough entry-level reading on the subject to know that if it doesn't help, at least it probably won't hurt you, right? No, 1,000% no. If you definitely stop taking the drugs, it actually fucks you up 10 times more if you go to cold turkey. You're supposed to wean off of it, of course. After an intense and protracted period of internal validation, you decide to bite the bullet and go for it. You tell Dr. Melville that you'd like to try the medication. In addition to your therapy, you spend about half an hour going over what you'll be taking and what you should expect from it. Thinking back on the decision later, you're pretty sure you had your fist tightly clenched the whole way through. Yeah, you have started taking medication. You are hoping that will work, but you aren't optimistic or worried about the side effects. Yeah, I mean, side effects are normal in general, but like for the one that I take, specifically, I don't know if it's generic brand and all that stuff, but it definitely has like side effects where it's like, your emotions will be kind of out of whack. It will affect like your hormonal balance, I think is the correct term. So it's like, you know how we have like our estrogen and our testosterone and all that shit, right? So it's like sometimes it kind of fucks with it a little bit. So it's like your body's already gonna feel other weird changes. So it's like puberty too, or some shit like that. Um, but at the same time, there's other things where it's like, you know, it might cause you to have more depressive slash suicidal thoughts, of course, among other things. And other times you're just a big baby and your body's like, I have to throw up or I have to poop all the time or something else in between. Because, you know, every medication is gonna have a long term or short term side effects, basically. And sometimes you can't fix it. It's just like, oh, well, every medication is going to have a side effect, no matter which one you take. It's just depends on, do you want to feel better or do you want to just sit there and struggle? All right. Oh, here we go. It's a Wednesday evening and you're visiting at your parents' house for the holiday. It's one of the handful of times during the year you drive out to visit your old hometown, and you've seen random people you have gone to school with around town. Whenever bumping into them, the usual short version of what you're doing since graduating or exchange. You've gone through a few of these today and have been very aware of how much you feel you haven't accomplished. Understandable, mostly if you feel like, oh, you're in your 20s and your life is over because you're not cool and not in a really nice, high paying job. When you were in high school, you had much larger plans and you feel like you failed to manifest most of them. Even if you had managed to, you largely lost interest in what you thought you wanted to do growing up. Now, you're not really sure what you want to do, and you felt like you're lacking the ambition to figure it out. Everyone you caught up with seemed so much happier than you, like they've got their lives all figured out, and you kind of feel like a failure, feeling like a failure by comparison, which is also 100% too. It's yeah, you know, sometimes you gotta yawn. It's always time to yawn. Oh yeah, failure. Your brother Malcolm arrives with his wife in town shortly before you all sit down to dinner. He's been traveling for his job lately and haven't seen him since the day he picked you up from the dentist. Your parents haven't seen him since before then. During dinner, they all catch up and Malcolm talks about the amazing things he's done on the road recently. Your mother turns to you and asks what you've been up to since you last seen him. Oh, same old, you say. Nothing really new going on. Your mother makes a face. Oh, nothing new? How long are you planning on staying at that job of yours? What do you say? Uh, sure. You know what? Let's say you don't know what you want to do. Because that's my answer with anything. I'm always eepy, let's be real. But yeah, realistically, this is where I felt for the last a billion years. Like, I thought I knew what I was doing, and then COVID kind of ripped away a lot of my, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, my comforts? My where I thought I was going good in life. Like, I thought I was doing okay. And then COVID decided to be like, no, we're going to throw a wrench in your plans. And now you're going to have to start from scratch. And it's really been very discouraging the last couple of years because of that. Actually, you start sheepishly. I'm not really sure what I want to do right now. Your mom puts down her fork. So what, you're planning on living the way you do for the rest of your life? How would you afford a house on that paycheck? What about kids? Your father interrupts, lightly placing his hand over your mother's. It's okay, Linda. Let the kids be what they are. There's nothing wrong with not knowing what you want to do in your 20s. I didn't get into construction until I was nearly 40. Your mother looks across the table at you, unsatisfied with her husband's reasoning. I don't think it's normal for someone at that age to not have a path. You need to think hard about it or you'll never make anything of yourself. We love a fucked up mother. We love nepotism. What the? Not nepotism. Narcissism, I think it's the word. Mom, come on, Malcolm interjects. This emotionally exhausts you. You want to tell her that you are thinking hard and not knowing what you're doing with yourself bothers you more than it ever could bother her. Sometimes it feels like you're lost in the woods and that if you were to drop dead in your apartment, the world wouldn't even notice. You want to make her understand that more often than not, you feel like an alien, like there isn't anything in the world that feels like a place where you belong and you have no idea how to fix it or what to do. You wish you could find a word so you could understand that being looked down on for this kills you and drives home the feeling of being a total outsider. Instead, you get very quiet for the rest of the meal while your mind goes numb. Everything inside you feels exhausted. Damn it, our mom made us extra depressed. Yeah, sometimes home be like that. It's fucked up. It's a rainy night. What the hell is this? Like, I know the picture's supposed to portray something, but some of them are just weird. You're hurrying through the rain to your girlfriend Alex's apartment at her behest. Though your pace is quick, the rain is steadily soaking up your pants legs as you travel to town. It is darkening your already poor mood. The call came when you were at home after a day of dealing with abnormally frustrating people. You spent the afternoon trying to unwind and get some work on your personal project done. Alex called and interrupted one of your trying to make progress, get frustrated not making progress, have a harder time making progress through the frustration repeat loops. And you haven't fully shaken off the feeling of being annoyed with yourself from it yet. Right. So apparently we have like hobbies. And funny enough, I decided to not know anything about myself. I've decided to go into this completely blind. So it's like, I don't know anything about my girlfriend, what her likes or dislikes are. I don't know anything about my family. I don't know anything about my friends. I don't even know what I'm working on. I just am going to this completely blind as just like a regular person. Which it makes sense, but like, I don't know. I was mentioned earlier, yesterday at least, that the storytelling of like, if I get to know too much about a person, I just feel uninterested anymore. So it's kind of a thing where it's like I fucked up enough. It's like the more I learn about a person when I'm like, let's say I'm like dating someone or friends or something like that, and it's just it starts to weird me out where I'm like, oh, I don't want to be around this person as much anymore, which is very bizarre. But it's mostly happened at least a handful of times with like people that I've like tried to date, or it's like you see things, it's like, oh, that's a big red flag, and other things it's just like, oh, we have very different ways of life, because you know sometimes you just don't ask that, you're just like enjoying happy, being fun and happy and all that stuff. Right, back to this though. You knock on her door, and on the third knock, hear her voice call from further in the apartment to come on in. As you cross the threshold, dripping rainwater all the way, you notice that the lights are turned down and very low in the apartment. You squint to navigate it as you clutch onto your damp umbrella, but end up hitting your shin on the side table, mumbling a profanity under your breath. Fuck! Oh no. You barely make out Alex emerging from the hallway, clad in what looks like a robe with the bare skin of her legs peeking out underneath. Why don't you come in and warm up? She asks in a designated, slightly cheesy, sexy voice. After B silence, she states more naturally, my roommates are out of town this weekend, so I thought it'd be nice to have a little fun while they're away. You appreciate her affection, but you're too wrapped up in your own negative feedback loop to be in the mood right now. What do you do? Let's see. I've been prescribed medication, but you doubt that it's having a positive effect. Yeah, that's fair. Let's try the unwind before we try to have sex. I like how it's like, let go your stress and be intimate. I can't be intimate. I'm just soggy doggy. What the fuck is this picture? With just like looks like a stairway. You look at her standing, barely lit, and notice there's a few candles scattered around the apartment. September starting tomorrow, right? Oh, is September starting tomorrow? I don't know. You know I don't do subs. Or realistically, I'm not good at like what's the word I'm thinking of? I'm not good at like portioned things and being like, hey, let me get you guys to all sub to me and we'll have fun and hang out and vibe and all that shit. Haha. I don't know. That's just I don't know. It's just not me. I mean, I do this for fun. It's hard to be like, I need to do this for my money. What do you want one? I don't know. Does September actually start tomorrow though? I thought it starts next month, like on the 1st. I got distracted again. Let me see. September. Oh, that's fucking weird. September is back tomorrow at 10 a.m. through Wednesday, October 1st. I mean, the nice thing is that they make it discounted, but I don't know. I'm not good with all that shit. Yeah, you were right. I don't know. I don't know. I'm more worried of like being like, hey, here's September, and then kind of like also like what's the word? Um, being like, oh, I don't stream at all, and then I feel bad. You know, that's the hard part of being like, I feel bad when people spend money, and then it's like, oh, you get nothing out of it. Oh fuck. Oh, now I remember. Where am I? You look at her standing, barely lit, and notice there's a few counts scattered around the apartment. It occurs to you that she tried to make this night special for the two of you. Even though you have a tight knot of antisocial frustration in your stomach, seeing how much she cares makes you want to try to melt it away so you can show her how much you care, that she's gone through all this trouble. However, you desperately need to shift gears first before that's even possible. You look amazing. Let's have a drink together first. You suggest, hoping that this will give you the push you need to get into the mood. You go into the kitchen and pour the two of you drinks, trying to focus on letting go of your bad mood. You sit down on the couch next to her and she calls up to you instantly. What should we toast to? She asks as she takes her drink. You think for a moment, passing up the cheesy to us option. You say what's on your mind, letting go of your bad day. Money is good. To tonight. The two of you cheers and you ask her about her day. Conversations turn flirtatious, and the two of you find yourselves in the bedroom shortly after. You plunge into her, and you. Okay, we know it's not that. You find that you have having trouble getting into things physically with her, and remember that diminished arousal was a possible side effect of your medication. Yes, that is actually 100% true. If you take antidepressants, and if you are a specific, like if you have a specific um, let me actually finish this and then I'll get back to the comment. Was a possible side effect of your medication. You hope that you were part of the population that would be affected by it, but it seems as though this was not the case. However, you were able to still enjoy the closeness of Alex and fall asleep together happily. So this actually is true, where if you have a certain already medical problem, I know this is a big thing actually with if you are a male diabetic, for example, that certain medications will actually affect you getting erect at all, which I think, if I recall, antidepressants have that same issue, unfortunately. So it's like, oh yeah, it's like that's a side effect where you might not be able to have sex happily or without, like, physical issues being an issue, of course. It's not like it'd be like, oh, I take your antidepressants. So it's not like if I take antidepressants, you don't get horny. It's kind of a thing where it's like you need more additional help. So it's like you need Viagra or some shit like that. It's like it's kind of a thing where the side effects are kind of like, but that's the thing. Side effects don't affect everyone. It's just one of those things where it's like it might happen, it might not happen. So that thing where it's like you kind of have to weigh the whisks, the pros and cons, of course, of that type of thing. So it's kind of hard to tell sometimes, like, oh, how do I do this? I'm curious if they. So I'm curious of how long it's been since we started this like game, like the storytelling, because they don't really say like, oh, it's October the 8th or January the something. They're just like, it's a Friday, it's a Wednesday, it's a winter day, that type of thing. So it's very interesting to see like how much time they're trying to say passes through this. It's early winter evening, and even though it's not particularly late, the time of year has lent the sky an almost prematurely darkened cast. Oh yes, this is also a thing where you will get seasonal depression the more dark it gets. And sometimes seasonal depression actually turns to a bigger depression, and other times the seasonal depression can already fuck you up if you already have depression. It's like, oh, you feel worse during certain times of the year, which is actually a true thing too. Does it happen to everyone? No, of course not. Day after day, just like today, you trudge home from a job that you have increasingly come to hate. On this day, your job misery seems to have reached critical mass, and not even shedding your rain-laden and uncomfortable work clothes help you unwind from your workday. Yeah. Sometimes you're just depressed during certain times of the year too. Oh yeah, it usually varies from person to person because it's always a thing where it's like some people are like, oh, I love the autumn and the winter times. It's like that nice crispy thing. Like I love the fall myself too, but it's a little harder to enjoy when you're kind of like in the middle of a desert area because it doesn't feel very like fall-esque. It's like, oh, it feels like you're in the desert all year round. You collapse into the couch, blank and numb. While your job always seems to be just an unpleasant reality of existence, it was a position you sort of fell into unexpectedly, never intending to work there long term, and it's getting harder and harder to keep up. Is currently how I feel at my current position, I'll be real. While it's currently not your dream job, you always just sort of stuck it out of necessity before, but it's becoming increasingly difficult to do that. Though you couldn't even begin to imagine what else you could do, you find yourself face to face with a question you can't just ignore. Is your complacency worth the price of this level of misery? What do you do? Let's see. Get proactive, look for other jobs, try and at least be productive, focusing your efforts on my special project. Aimlessly look through classified for another job. California. Yeah. Yeah, there's certain parts of California where it feels like a barren wasteland, and where I live is more like farmlands, but sometimes it does feel like a barren wasteland. Work always sends me to the hottest place in summer, coldest place in winter. I think weather needs to stop existing in general. Sometimes it would be nice if it just stops existing altogether, but sometimes it's just funky like that, which is unfortunate. And I know, like, for example, like it's been like 90s and 100s the last week for no reason, when the rest of the summer it's been like 80s or 90s at most. So it's like, oh, when we hit those hundreds, it's unbearable, and you're just like, oh, this sucks. You know what? Sure, let's look aimlessly through classifieds. Celsius? Yeah, sure. Let me look that up real quick, actually. Google on my phone. Google on my phone. F2C. There we go. Let's see. So let's take. Okay, so 102 degrees Fahrenheit is 38.8 Celsius. Or 38.889 Celsius. Which still fucking sucks. So it's like, if you get into the high 30s, that's usually what the temperature is around us. Give or take. Damn, they have local Craigslist? Yeah, exactly. It's been pretty bad like that. It'd be like, oh, or it's a perfectly nice sunny day, and then you're melting, and you're like, this sucks. You boot up your computer and navigate to the local Craigslist. You shift through a myriad of legitimate posts, clear pyramid scams, and the occasional miscategorized random personal ad. You look through the section that's in line with your current job and start feeling a bit of despair. Would things really be any different if you were simply doing the same thing somewhere else? You email your resume to a few of the postings after cutting off a cover letter that you can use for a variety of things. After you exhausted the posting for the last few days, you head back to the main page. There's a section that's more in line with the project you've been doing, though it's a highly competitive creative field that you don't feel remotely qualified for. Despite that, you click on the section. Scrolling through the post, you daydream about actually holding a position where you could get to do something more meaningful. Despite feeling completely intimidated by the requirements, you find a listing you actually want to apply for. You spend an hour crafting a really personal cover letter and really giving your all and nervously signing off the email. You're rather convinced that you'll never hear back from any of these places, but the act of trying to change your situation instead of stewing on it actually feels quite freeing. You find yourself trying to stifle the hope that you end up getting a creative job, but it still manages to bubble up anyways. Yeah, that sounds about right. And then, let's see. We're still depressed. We are still seeing a therapist, even though you doubt anything she says can make you feel any better. And we're still taking medication. All right. Let's see. It's a little past 8 p.m. on a Tuesday night. You're at your computer, frustration levels peaking, rubbing your eyes and sighing heavily. You're working on your project from your job that has you stretched to wit's end trying to meet a looming deadline. And as it lurks closer and closer, you're seriously down your ability to get it done. You're dragging your feet a little at work due to your complete lack of energy lately, despite wanting to do a good job. You find yourself unable to push past it and feel horribly useless for it. Apparently, I've gotten to a point, realistically, at work, like on my own side, where I'm just so angry. And I'm like, I get so angry with the job and how terrible things are sometimes. I'm like, I can't fuss about it. I really can't, because, I know it will never change. Even if I tried to say it will change, it's a type of job where it takes 6 months to a year for anything to actually happen. And even then, it's like, sometimes it's like, oh, we can't do it because of budget reasons or X, Y, and Z or whatever. So it's pretty bad. Let's see. You slide your hands off your face to look at your screen as it beeps at you. Oh, we're getting our DM from our online friend. Hey, are you there? I really need to talk to someone about something. You feel like you're getting nowhere with your current task and you probably could use a break. However, you know that you have a history of getting distracted and losing motivation to pick something back up again afterwards. What do you do? You know what? We're feeling fucking lazy, so let's fucking talk to our friend. You feel like you hit a big wall with your task anyway, so why not take a break and help a friend? Hey, what's up? Oh, good, you're there. I just found out I got cheated on. I don't know what to do. Oh no, that's horrible. The two of you talk for a long time and you lend a shoulder to your friend. You give him space to rant, to cry, and most importantly, to be able to voice his inner turmoils. Or as this game calls it, IMs. Fucking weirdos. I know, right? I hate that they call it an IM. Just call it a message. You give him your full attention and talk to him throughout what his options are for what he does next. You keep him from doing something rash, and the two of you decide it's best for him to sleep on before doing anything. Exhausted, he departs for bed and thanks you for being there for him. As you close the I am window, you feel horribly sorry for your friend, but happily that you were able to help. It serves as a tangible reminder to you that you're capable of being useful to someone instead of solely being a mess that needs everyone else's help. You boot up your work project and find that you're suddenly able to get some solid progress done in on that night. Hey, we did a good thing and now we feel better. Damn, gotta censor over that word. I know, right? Okay, sounds good. We'll see you later, wrong guy. We'll see how long I'll also be streaming too. That is a good question. Also, depending how long this fucking game takes. It feels like it's been forever. Okay, let's see. I always gotta put a censor over the words. It's a sunny Saturday afternoon. You're in deep thought on the way home from therapy. However, you notice this time, you're not in the same negative feedback loop you usually get trapped in. When being this introspective, you realize that although you still have your bad days, your lows aren't quite as low as they used to be. Your antidepressant bottle rolls across your dashboard as you take a left turn. Why are they just hanging out in my car, just on the dashboard? What the hell's wrong with me? You've been on this medication for quite a while now, after a period of trying a few different kinds. Though you still have minor side effects, they've overall become an unnoticed part of your life. You feel as if your life has generally changed for the better recently, and you begin to wonder if you don't need them anymore. You don't feel as much despair or hopelessness, and you hate yourself a lot less these days. Maybe it's time to stop taking these, you think. I seem to not really need them anymore. What do you think? Uh, my sister fucking from the other fucking room. Don't do it! This is continue taking your meds or go off meds. We're gonna keep taking them because I know what will happen when you go off meds. And I don't want to see that on stream. You had the realization that you can't be sure if it's a general life change that's making you feel better or if it's a sign that the medication is actually working. You decide against discontinuing your meds. It's not really a lesson you'd like to learn the hard way, and the side effects of this particular kind are negligible. The next time you see Dr. Melville, you'll tell her about this. She informs you that this is a common train of thought that people have begun using medication to help them manage their depression experience, and that you manage to dodge a bullet because it generally ends poorly. She also asks... She keeps also... Can't fucking talk. She also asks you to talk to her first before making decisions about your medication in the future. Well, that's good, right? She's like, thank you for telling me, but don't fucking do that. Oh, shit. Oh, this one's fucking long. Good lord. Okay. It's yet another sleepless Thursday night. You are at Alex's apartment, wide awake in bed as she's sleeping peacefully beside you. You're sleeping on top of her like a fucking mattress. She fell asleep hours ago, and you've been laying here unable to shut off your brain up long enough to fall asleep. You've added the feelings of insecurity about your relationship to the rest of the noise in your head, keeping you up tonight. It was kind of tense between you two. Oh, tense night between the two of you. You arrived after a stressful day at work, and as you made dinner together, you barely said a word. You were stuck in your own head and had a hard time really being present with her, as your thoughts turned to all of the ways you feel like you're deficient at being a good person and being yourself mentally for each and every one. She told you she couldn't tell that you were in one of your moods, and so that she wouldn't push you, but missed talking to you as you two sat on the couch together. You wanted to tell her how much you love her, but you couldn't make the words come out right and ended up sounding defensive instead. Yeah, okay, go ahead. Yeah, I definitely answer your question while I finish reading. As you lay there next to her, you trace your fingers across her arms just lightly enough not to wake her. You still haven't explained your depression to her, or how you started seeing a therapist, or how that you've been taking their medication. And it's starting to feel more and more like a secret that you keep instead of something she could simply doesn't know about you yet. It's becoming more and more apparent that's impacting your relationship with her, and you feel guilty about this. However, you're also terrified if she knew exactly how fucked up you are, that she would leave you. You're already worried that she's only with you because she doesn't realize how terrible a person you are yet. And you are afraid that this would be the final thing to expose you. Dun dun dun. She stares in her sleep and squints as she opens her eyes, with the confusion that with waking her up, she asks if you're awake and then if everything is okay. Good question. I mean, technically, I'm going to say tell her about my situation, but, you know. All right, go ahead, Sky Soldier. Oh, this one's fucking long, too. Okay, yeah. I'll just leave it there for a second. Do you have a toggle that's bound to a very commonly used key? Your sweater just runs off for a bit sometimes. No, actually, it's it's an idle thing that I made for my when I'm away from the camera. So basically, if it goes idle, like if I move around too much or all that stuff, or it just loses track of my face, unfortunately, it basically quote unquote puts the character to sleep, which also means it takes off her sweater and her glasses and all that stuff and make her like EP time. So yeah, I apologize if it goes off like way too often, but I realize if I move around way too much in front of the fucking camera, that it accidentally triggers it, and it's like, oh no, gotta go do that. So that definitely is what happens for sure. And it's funny because originally I thought about doing an idle button for it, but it seemed easier to do as a AFK thing if I like disappear from the camera for like a second or something, or have to run off to go take a piss or something. So I was just like, yeah, this is easier, right? Totally. But no, yes, yeah, I know some people do for the keyboards, but I found it was just easier to do it as just say if something leaves the vicinity of the camera or blocks it or whatever. I think it's because I keep blocking my face sometimes with the microphone when I'm speaking or getting too close to it, that sometimes it triggers it. It's like, oh, there's an object in front of your face. But yeah, no, I definitely get that. I don't know if this is supposed to be like a big ass wrinkle of like your ball sack or a blanket. But I'm gonna assume it's like a fuzzy blanket. Okay. Oh, here we go. You feel like a jerk for accidentally waking her up, but you're afraid to put this off any longer, that you won't find the strength to tell her everything later. No, actually, everything is okay. Can I tell you something? Something important. Alex sits up, rubbing the sleep out of her eyes. For the rest of the year, I have no comment for what he said. Understandable. Alex sits up, rubbing the sleep out of her eyes. For the rest of the night, you lay side by side, holding hands as you tell her everything. You tell her how it's more than just feeling sad sometimes, how you feel trapped by your own mind sometimes, how sometimes you feel nothing at all, and how you can't shake it off. You tell her how you've been started going to therapy, how you feel embarrassed about, and how it's working out for you. She listens the entire time, occasionally asking questions about how this or that works, or asking you to explain something further. She squeezes your hand and tells you she understands and that she's sad you didn't tell her sooner. After laying silent for a moment, the weight of what you did hits you. You desperately want her to say something, to tell you how she's feeling about all this, but you're too afraid of what the answer would be to ask. You start convincing yourself that now she knows everything, she's going to leave. There's no way someone could deal with how you really are. So, how can I help? What do you need me to do? She asks. You think for a second, and the answer you come up with fills you with despair. I honestly don't know. I wish I knew how to fix this, but I don't know that you can do anything. I think it's just something I have to live with. She looks at you with very sad eyes before kissing you on the forehead. Then I'll live with it with you. I don't know how you could possibly love me. She rolls over and wraps her arms around your neck, settling her head on top of yours. You don't need to. Just know that I do. Let's see. We are moderately depressed. You find it hard to focus on anything because you get physically and mentally exhausted very quickly. We are in therapy with a good counselor. You're doing cognitive behavioral therapy techniques and they are starting to help. The medication is helping keep the edge off and keeping some of the darker, more negative feedback loops from being as prevalent. Which is true. That very much happens. I need to find a therapist. I always keep saying that the last couple years, and I'm like, I'm good. All right. It's Friday night, and you. Okay. It's Friday night, and you're laying across your bed feeling pathetic. As you're leaving work tonight, a group of coworkers ask if you want to join them for drinks. Feeling antisocial and put on the spot, you decline. You have a habit of doing this. You're often so convinced that you were weird and terrible that any invitation to hang out will end up in disappointment for those inviting you. You never feel like you know how to act in group outings, and you feel like a total creep since it seems to come so naturally to everyone who isn't you. You find yourself often petrified of breaking some unknown social rule that you don't often go out. Now, however, you find yourself alone at home. Your brain has begun telling you how pathetic and sad you are for being unable to just be a normal person and go out with the nice people. You can't figure out why you can't just go out and meet people and enjoy yourself. At the same time, you're also feeling like no one would possibly want you to hang out if they really knew you because you're dull and weird anyways. You try your typical strategy and boot up Netflix to distract yourself from the feelings, but frustration with you yourself builds and you realize you have to do something else with your night. Anything else to take off your mind right now on how awful and lonely you feel right now. What do you do? Well, I'm definitely not going to the bar. I'm not in that type of state of mind. Play with my cat. That's funny. Finally, a picture we can understand. I know, Netflix, right? And it's crazy because it's the old Netflix before they changed it. It's like, good lord. You could really tell. um, you know what? Let's play with my cat. Nights like this, you're very glad you made the call to become a cat owner. Feeling too socially burnt out to interact with other people, you go to find your cat. You get her to chase a laser pointer for a solid 30 minutes before she tires herself out. She pads over to you and collapses in a heap on your lap, purring loudly. Though initially she hated being picked up, you carry her to the computer desk with you and she doesn't object. Setting her down in your lap, you comfortably surf the internet for a while before heading to bed. Having her here with you has a calming effect and it makes you feel a lot less alone. The interesting thing is that there's no like, you're depressed and all that shit down here. And it doesn't let me scroll, so I'm like, interesting. Hello, kitty. I'm gonna pet you with my mouse. Pet, pet, pet. All right. Oh, this one's long. Okay. And it's shoes. Okay, shoes. I can deal with shoes. It's a cold Saturday afternoon. You just arrived at Alex's apartment and you're happy to finally see her after a week of absence due to your schedules not lining up due to work and school. You hug her in the doorway, but she breaks away sooner than normal and sits down on the couch as you take off your sneakers and lay them in your usual place right next to her. There's something I was hoping we could talk about, actually, she says. You're instantly worried that you're being blindsided by a breakup conversation due to the sudden shift in tone, but she quickly smiles and puts you at ease when she sees all of your color leave your face. It's nothing bad, I promise. With that, she leads you over to the couch and sits on the other end of it facing you. So I hope this doesn't freak you out, and if you feel like things are going too fast, just tell me. She talks faster than usual and fidgets. We seem to have a lot of weeks like this, and they really suck. I was thinking I'd ask, since things are so strong with us, what are your thoughts about maybe moving in together? It takes a few seconds to sink in and leaves you a bit shocked when it does. You were worried she wants to spend less time with you, not more. Do you want to? She asks. Well, yeah, I do. I mean, we'd have to sort out logistics and everything, but those are all the things we can take care of. You start to walk through the steps of imagining the two of you living together. You love the thought of being able to wake up next to her every day and seeing her so often. However, the more you picture it, the more a few concerns become apparent. There are things she is insulated from, like the days you don't feel like you can even get out of bed. The nights your medication keeps you up from being able to sleep. All those moments you're stuck staring at the wall, completely out of energy and feeling nothing. How would she handle that? How quickly would she want to get away? So, she says, what do you think? I'm gonna say tell her what you want to, but have concerns and discuss them moderately. Cause that's basically feels like the best way. You gotta be honest, bro. You're really worried that if Alex were to live with you, she wouldn't be able to deal with your days of being unable to get out of beds or nights where you can't do nothing but stare at the wall and panic. Even though you discussed your situation with her, you still fear that she doesn't realize the depths of how bad it can get. It's one thing for you to detail how you feel sometimes, and for her to see it pop up occasionally. It's an entirely different situation for it to be something she has to live with alongside you. Well, I'd like to, but I think it's best if we talk about it a bit more before committing to a decision. Though she seems a little defeated, You make it clear that you're not making excuses and actually mean that you want to talk. You reiterate a lot of what you've told Alex that night, and although she gets a little defensive and tells you she knows all about that already, she confirms that she is willing to help you sort through your issues. I feel like you forget I love you sometimes. I know that there will be bad days, and I'd really rather try to work through them with you. We can figure all of this out together. Her words sway you, and you can't help but hold her close to you. Oh, okay. This is getting different. Talk about thoughts and feelings? Unheard of. I know, right? Crazy bread. You are definitely still depressed, but things are getting better. Whatever you're doing seems to be working. You really feel like you're taking steps to affect positive change in your life. You now seem to enjoy seeing your therapist. Between giving a chance to talk things out and the CBT technique she shares with you, you find your sessions extremely help you. Cock and ball torture techniques? Ale? Damn, not the CBT. I don't know what CBD techniques are, but I definitely don't think it's cock and ball torture. All right, let me look it up actually. Hold on. CBD techniques. Therapy. Depression. Here we go. Cognitive behavioral therapy. Oh, okay. So it's like, according to this, it says 9 calming techniques is cognitive restructuring, actively scheduling, thought journaling, ABC analysis. I don't know what ABC stands for, so I'm not going to look that up. Fact checking, successive, approximative, or breaking it down slowly, mindful meditation, behavioral experiments, and role play. Not the sexy type, though. But it's basically just like breaking it down so it doesn't feel like a big thing, of course. You have been taking your medication regularly, and while you were skeptical at first, it's hard to argue with the fact that you feel better than you have in a long time. Oh, yeah. None of us are licensed in mental health. I can only speak on my own experiences. Oh, it's December. All right. It's Christmas time. It's December, and you return to your parents' house to celebrate the holidays with your family. Out the living room window, you see a gentle flurry of snow drifting down to meet the pristine blanket of white from yesterday's unexpected Christmas Eve snowfall, and you quietly laugh to yourself at how incredibly cliche it seems. Still, as you sit down to dinner, you can't help but notice how being surrounded by family and the overly kitschy atmosphere your mother's decorations have created have actually made you feel more relaxed and almost comfortable for once. Your mom is running around frantically checking the oven and the stockings and just generally trying to family time it up, while your dad sits at the head of the table drinking a beer and laughing with your brother Malcolm. His wife Karen is there too, whom you've always gotten along well with, and your parents even agreed to let you bring your kitten along. She's been darting in and out of people's legs and hopping into laps all night. What about her girlfriend? How come her girlfriend's not with us? Are they just like, oh, you guys aren't like serious enough to bring her home? They're just like, oh yeah, she's at her own family for no reason. That's so funny. Okay. As you thoughtfully munch away at your turkey, listening to the conversations around you, your thoughts drift back over the last few months. You think about how hard things have gone, replaying over in your head some of your worst as well as some of your best memories. It seems like all of these things just came to a head over the past few months, and with a sudden flurry of relationship turmoil and professional anxiety, social stress, and above all, an omnipresent sense of weight that seems you have recently just become aware of. You've drawn out of your revere by your dad's familiar booming laugh, as some cheesy comments Malcolm made seem to have hit the mark this time. Sitting at that table, you're suddenly immensely glad for the chance to be able to ignore everything for an evening and not have to struggle trying to explain yourself for once. Fortunately, everyone seems to be content with laughing at each other's jokes and discussing favorite sport teams, and for a while, you'll think you'll be able to get through dinner without any embarrassing personal intrusions. But no sooner did the thought cross your mind than the table conversation trickles off, leaving a slightly awkward silence to descend upon the dinner. So, how are you doing these days? Your mom asks you pointedly. It's such a simple question, one that you seem to have had to answer countless times recently. You take a moment to collect your thoughts, then looking up, you take a deep breath. Well, I'm fucked up, Mom. You never really thought of yourself as a fighter, and even to say it now, it sounds hokey. But looking back on the past few months to where you are now, it really does feel like you've endured an immersive struggle. And look at where you are now with a sense of something that isn't quite pride. You still hate your job and find it unpleasant, but you're surprised to find that going into work every day is no longer a monumental challenge. You've started adopting some clever techniques, Like taking short 2-minute breaks every hour to break up the monotony, and now you view your job as just an 8 short hours of your day. A compartmentalization technique Dr. Melville told you about that you found actually works quite well. You know this job isn't what you want to do for the rest of your life, and you start actually looking for other positions, even attending a couple of preliminary interviews. This is gonna be a long one, isn't it? Fuck. Okay, I see the scroll bar, and it's gonna be fucking long. You started to make effort to go out with your friends more. While the social scene still makes you very comfortable sometimes, you're more and more able to let yourself just enjoy the company of your friends. In fact, your relationship with many of them has increased over the past little while. You still definitely have days where you flake out or don't feel like up to hanging out, but for the most part, your friends are understanding and appreciate your communication. By far, the biggest challenge you noticed in your life has been your relationship with Alex. You were terrified of talking to her about everything at first, but looking back, you feel like it's only strengthened your relationship. She was always supportive of you and emotionally, but lately the two of you have been ever more in sync. It's really starting to feel like you're building a life together. It seems like the two of you have been making a more concentrated effort to sync up your schedules and have been spending more and more of your downtime with each other. Pretty soon, you think moving in together may be a very real possibility. Dr. Melville has commented on how well you seem to be doing and whether a result of the therapy, the medication, or both. You can't help but agree. With all that seems to have improved recently, it's something difficult for you to think about the fact that you still have bad days, sometimes even really bad days. They serve as a stark reminder of the fact that this will always be something you'll likely have to deal with for the rest of your life. Depression is a battle, and though you're certainly ahead in the fight, you know the battle isn't ever going to be over. Oops. Sometimes even Alice could tell when things are going rough, because despite your best efforts to the contrary. While you know that your depression can never be cured, you have a very strong support network in your friends and even Malcolm, and armed with a newfound confidence in your friends and family. You accept that though the road may be rocky, it is at least not solitary. You meet your mom's gaze from across the table and muster a smile. I'm good, Mom, you tell her. She says nothing, but you can feel her smile from across the room. Oh, thank God, we're at the epilogue. Good Lord, this feels like it's been a billion years. Fucking Christ. Okay. Let's see. Epilogue. Oh, that's it? Okay. I thought there was going to be more story, not just a thank you. God damn it. We really want to thank you for taking the time to play Depression Quest. We realize it may not be the most enjoyable game you've ever played or even the easiest, and we sincerely appreciate your involvement. Like Depression itself, Depression Quest does not have an end, really. There is no neat resolution to depression, and it was important to us that Depression Quest's own resolution reflects that. Instead of a tidy ending, we wanted to just provide a series of outlooks to taking moving forward. After all, that's all we could really do with depression. Just keep moving forward. And at the end of the day, it's our outlook and support from people just like you that makes all the difference in the world. Thank you. And then credits. I will say that was actually really good. It was good storytelling, and for it to be like an interactive nonfiction thing, it's not like they were trying to gussy it up. It was very much like, here's what depression feels like if you are living with it or know someone that knows about it. It's just a thing where they didn't like try to paint it in a different like comical or a tragic light. Like this is just how it feels sometimes where it fucking sucks. I will say it's funny how they're like, here's multiple sounds we use, and it sounds like it's the same goddamn song. So I'm like, you're a liar. Let's see. Thank you to all these people for their amazing support during a really difficult time. This game would have been done a while months ago without all of you. So I wonder if technically this was them talking about that their project was they wanted to work on a video game or something like that, you know. Thank you for your help with trailer ideas. Blanket Forward to Depression Valentine's. For being internet floor and one of us needs to get through the dark times. And you for willing to play games that are meant to be something other than simply fun. That was pretty good. I liked that. That was a good story. Now how do I Well, yeah, I guess there's no other way to get through this except for this. But that was I'm surprised that took so much longer to still finish. Good Lord. It still took like another hour, give or take. Yeah, there was no way I was going to finish yesterday after my internet decided to fuck up on itself and be like, "Hey, you streaming? Well, too bad you have no internet." And I'm like, "Well, this fucking sucks." But I think for the moment, I'm actually gonna cut the stream short here for today, just because I'm slowly getting back into streaming. Slowly, just slowly. And I kind of want to start doing more streaming on my days off. But at the same time, as the depression says here, is that I want to also start focusing on more things to take care of myself, for sure. Of course, definitely will take care of myself. Thank you, Sky Soldier. This is definitely one of those things where it's like, this game was not really an eye opener, but more of just a reminder for myself, being like, oh yeah, I do have really fucked up depression, and even if I don't, you know, I don't have thoughts of hurting myself and all that stuff. There are still days where it's gonna suck, and I gotta put on my boots and do a little bit every day and just do better. Thank you again for everyone for hanging out today. I think the next time I will stream will probably be next week because I have work the next couple days, and it's gonna be kind of brutal. So it's just one of those things. I will hopefully have a better plan of what we will be streaming next week, but I hope to see everyone there or vibing or wherever they may be in the world. All right, you guys all have a good weekend. I'll see you next time. Bye.